don't have much to tell you about your second question because it's not been long since we've been accredited. But regarding your first question, to be honest, I set up 2 advisory groups for the formality's sake because we need to have a lot of participants in developing strategic plans and so on. But it turned out to be the best thing we did. We could hear some opinions here and there on individual basis, but in systematic way, we were able to get a lot of valuable advices and comments regarding our curricular or our performance of our graduates. So it turned out to be the best thing. And we really worked very hard on working with these advisory groups. And our peer review team was very much impressed with our alumni participants.
Okay. Okay. When we went through the initial accreditation, I had a mock visit, which is something that used to be very commonly recommended. And in that visit, one of the individuals suggested that I have an advisory group. And to be honest, my previous schools, the advisory groups weren't very effective. I attended the advisory council workshop at HSB, learned some things about how to manage one, and we would say that if you have a group and manage it well, they can be exceptionally valuable in the strategic planning process. Example, in my situation, we had a proposal to do a program. I won't get into details, but we were talking about a $250,000 to $500,000 investment. And the advisory council, by the time we get through with their questions and answers, we realized that that was an idea for the faculty, but was not going to go anywhere in the business community. And so that saved me as dean of the school making a really stupid mistake. So that was obviously some feedback from planning. But also, as Dean Fellows pointed out, the feedback as to how well the students are doing, the recent grads. The advisory council, those individuals will be very candid. And that's very valuable because they'll tell you that, hey, they know this, but they have trouble with that. And they take a personal intention. So that's something that we would encourage you to do regardless whether you are or not accredited, is to have a good advisory council. Questions?
University. Thank you very much to the panel. I'd like to ask a question about money and resources. A sense of, if the panel can help me understand something of from the project being an initial thought or an idea to its completion, what dollar value was put aside? How was the budget justified? Was it a percentage of your money? Is some sense of were there senior faculty that were allocated to drive this process? Was it a full-time role for them? Was there administrative support? So a sense of the amount of investment that you have to argue for from different bodies in the universities.
About initial accreditation, I'm the last one to ask because I haven't really been through it. Although, you're asking about the cost of initial accreditation.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to share some ideas, but I don't think I'm going to share it in dollar values because different schools in different countries, the salary are quite different. For example, in our case, starting our initial accreditation up to now, we have hired 20 more faculty members. So we used to have only around 80 faculty members. Right now we have about 100. So 25% more. And different schools or different countries have different salary systems. So I don't know the situation in Australia. And as to the budget, it has been quite different since we started to form a committee to go for AACSB accreditation. I think the budget has been increased by 30 to 40%. I mean, other than the salary for the faculties, and those are mainly operating for traveling, those kind of budgets. But not many of them are from the university. We try to get grants from the government. Like I have mentioned, we got a 3-year grant from the government trying to get the ACSB accreditation. And the majority of those money are from our alumni. Our alumni are very supportive of the ACSB accreditation. And so lots of money are from the alumni. I remember, let me share you with one short story. 2 years ago, I went to visit one of our alumni in Los Angeles. After I talked to him for about 10 minutes, he started to complain about lots of things. He said, "You are not doing a good job," So I was very upset. I say, "Wow, why do I need to spend that much time visit him, by flying like 15 hours or something like that, drive 2 hours to visit him in LA." But I was still in the US. I got a phone call from the school saying that guy donated $1 million US, to our college. So sometimes, it's really hard to predict, whether it's worth the effort to visit the alumni. And the other part could be like traveling, because you need to attend seminars, annual conference like Joe has mentioned. So every year we spend lots of time and money to join those conference, And of course, I also have mentioned we provide lots of research incentives, like reduce the teaching load. We try to come up with some plans. And if you got some very good research publications, or you got research grants from the government, from private companies, you can waive the teaching load. Also, things of course. It's really hard to measure the actual monetary inputs. But basically these are, of course, then there are some other efforts you cannot measure, like, the staff members, they have to overtime without pay, the faculty members have to spend lots of time, other than their teaching, research, we ask them to spend time in those focused areas like service learning, social enterprises. That's basically, my answer to this question. But still, I think it's worth the effort. With the international linkage we got, quality education, for the students, the staff, the faculty members, they have the mindset that we need to keep working on things, continuous improvement. Yeah, so that's basically my answer to your question.